The Senate is leaving town this afternoon for 10 days with no deal, zero deal, no progress, nothing to revive those enhanced Obamacare subsidies. Good morning, I'm Jake Sherman, and welcome to the Daily Punch, brought to you by Punchbowl News. It is Thursday, January 15th, 2026. Let's get into the mix. Here are your Washington headlines of the day. Number one, the Senate is nowhere on an Obamacare deal. Number two, after ICE outcry, Dems are turning on DHS funding bill. And number three, Banking Committee. The Senate Banking Committee has punted a major crypto markup. Let's get into it. Top of Punchbowl News this morning, there was hope. There was fleeting hope that the Senate would be able to come up with an Obamacare deal after the House passed that measure in dramatic fashion, to be honest with you, passed a discharge petition, a bill that was linked to a discharge petition to extend those Obamacare subsidies for 3 years. There was hope that the Senate would be able to come together on a compromise that was less than 3 years, but that could get through the Senate and then through the House again. But the Senate is leaving town this afternoon for 10 days with no deal. Zero deal, no progress, nothing to revive those enhanced Obamacare subsidies, and there's no sign that they're moving toward any agreement. Senators that are involved in the bipartisan healthcare talks are struggling to reach an agreement among themselves, and even if they can, the group would need to build consensus among senators on both sides of the aisle in order to pass a bill and then convince President Donald Trump, to sign it. Bernie Moreno, Ohio Republican who's involved in these talks, says we're still in the red zone. That's what he said a week ago. And there's been no breakthrough. In fact, it looks like things are going in the wrong direction. And in this very, very good top this morning, Laura Weiss, Andrew Desiderio, and Samantha Handler list a number of reasons why. Number one, why it's not going to happen, or why it's on the brink of collapsing. The Senate is nearly out of time. Any agreement would open enrollment for Obamacare plans through March 1st as part of the already agreed upon framework. But every day that goes by, the window shrinks. It may be too late to change 2026 enrollment all that much. Susan Collins said that senators will continue to meet next week during the recess, but Moreno said time is not on our side. This can't continue where we just drag it out, because eventually you run out of time. John Thune said any agreement would have to get done before the end of January. The recess week paired with the need the next week to pass 2026 spending bills makes it exceedingly difficult to meet that timeline. Number two, abortion. Abortion has been a major issue. Hyde Amendment has been a major issue. There's no sign that anyone's letting up on that. The leadership wants no part of this. That's number three. Chuck Schumer has continued to push Democrats' 3-year revival of the Obamacare credits as the only viable plan. John Thune has not gotten very involved and is not expecting to get very involved. So all that work in the House might be for naught, because it does not look like the Senate is getting anywhere. On one other note, war powers. The Senate voted 51-50 on late Wednesday, with J.D. Vance breaking the tie to kill the war powers resolution and agreeing to a Republican argument that there's no active military operations in the country. Josh Hawley and Todd Young flipped after conversations with Marco Rubio. Number two story of the morning. House Democrats are turning against the Homeland Security funding bill en masse after the killing of Renee Good and a wider backlash against ICE's treatment of U.S. citizens and immigrants alike. I mean, listen. I know appropriators are very bullish that they could get an agreement on a bill to fund Homeland Security. I just don't see how Democrats are going to vote for this. After the killing of Renee Good, after the shooting last night in Minneapolis of, I guess it was a protester who reportedly tried to swing a shovel at an ICE officer. I just don't see how Democrats vote to fund ICE in the way that House Republicans want to. It just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Hakeem Jeffries told reporters Wednesday, right now there's no bipartisan path forward for the Department of Homeland Security. He acknowledged that people were still, negotiating over the issue, and appropriators are holding out hope that some deal would be palatable to the broader Democratic caucus. But the challenge is crafting a bipartisan bill that provides no new funding for ICE and it adds accountability measures. This could be possible. I wouldn't say plausible, but possible, just because the OBBBB, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, you probably had too many B's there, included a ton of money for border and Interior Enforcement and ICE and DHS. So there's a lot of money kind of sloshing around the system. And that's a reason that a CR, a year-long funding bill, could be the way out. Number 3 story of the morning we scooped last night. The Senate Banking Committee has punted a landmark crypto markup that was scheduled to happen this morning. That's after Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong said the company could not support the latest draft version of the crypto market structure legislation, the product of a long-running bipartisan process. Those talks, which have been making headway toward a final deal all month, immediately entered a tailspin. Tim Scott, chair of the Banking Committee, decided to delay the markup late Wednesday. His staff sent out a notice. Other crypto companies wanted to see this reach the finish line. Digital Chamber, A16Z, which, by the way, was an investor in, I think continues to be an investor in Coinbase. But Coinbase has been at the center of these talks, and their concern basically sunk this for now. I mean, listen, the power dynamics here is this is crypto and digital assets versus banks. I think the crypto world was frustrated what the banks had been able to get. But if this falls apart at this point, that would be a huge defeat for Tim Scott and for the institution writ large. And with that, leave us a rating and review. You can subscribe to Punchbowl News at punchbowl.news. Have a great day and stay safe.